Welcome, guys, back to the I Love Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Woolwine, and today we're welcome with everyone's friend, Mr. Chico Suave.
What's
How we
going
doing,
on,
man?
folks? How we feeling today,
So
man? How we doing?
I'm excited. This is
Thank
something
you.
we've talked about here and there throughout the last year or so, and finally making it happen. And so I'm
Yeah, we
excited to
should do
get
it
this
yesterday,
going.
but we were supposed to do this yesterday, but I got stuck at a haunted house. I was like, oh snap! As I'm getting yelled at by monsters, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing a podcast right now, and I'm with Alfonso Gonzalez. I'm with camera guy Nick. I am with Robbie Reeves and Cam's or Reagan. So we're all out there having the time of our lives. First time for Nick, camera guy Nick. And I'm just looking at him. I'm like, I'm more scared of getting yelled at by the guy I am supposed to do a podcast with.
Yeah,
So,
you're
but
all
no,
good.
dude, I'm happy that we were able to do it today.
Of course, I feel like it worked out. Worked
Yeah,
out better. Got some time.
yeah.
Happy belated birthday, by the way. We was
Thank you so
originally going to
much.
film this on your birthday, but happy
Yeah,
belated birthday.
thank you, thank you, thank
Of
you.
course. Before we dive into your career, why you're in this crazy world of wrestling, would you like to shout out your social medias and let the fans know where they can get the latest Chico Suave?
Oh, of course. I prefer if you're gonna buy merch, come to the shows, right? Support independent wrestling. Come to shows. Let me talk to you. Let me appreciate you buying whatever you are buying. So if you're buying a Chico doll, thank you. If you're buying a T-shirt, I want to give you that T-shirt in person because that's hard-earned money, and you deserve that kind of respect. But you can always find me at Pro Wrestling T slash I Chico Suave. Same thing with all my socials. I Chico Suave. I think there's one of them with an underscore, but usually if you type in Chico Suave, I'm like the first thing you pop up. I'm the yellow dot with the face on them. So
Very easy to find. Very
very
easy to
easy.
find. So Chico, as you know, people involved in wrestling, we all have to be fans of this
Of
to be
course.
involved. So when did you find wrestling and what made you a fan of it?
So we're gonna go way back in time. I'm talking like 2004, 2005 ish. I was a young kid in fifth grade, fourth, fifth grade. I was going to the bathroom one day. This is around October time, also, so it's kind of special. I went to the bathroom and I saw my dad watching TV. And on the TV, it was an old guy getting his ass beat by a young man with a chair, and the old man was all bloody up and everything. I didn't know who they were. I'm just like, I looked at it. I'm like, I want to do that for a living. I want to beat up old people. And that's what it was. I didn't know it was professional wrestling. I didn't know what any of that stuff was. I just said to myself, I want to beat up old people because they're doing it on TV. So
Okay.
through later on, I found out it was Ric Flair and I believe it was Randy Orton at the time. So I
Hmm.
think this is like Randy going to like the rated RKO when he's doing the Legend Killer gimmick and everything. So that's why I became a huge fan of like wrestling. Then I got exposed to people like Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero, Mysterio, Cena, Batista, and just like this incredible wave of talent at that time.
So you bring up Orton and Ric Flair and guys like that. Who were some of your favorites growing up watching?
For sure, it was Cena. One of Cena's like I think Cena had a huge impact in the wrestling business. Mysterio, but for sure Eddie Guerrero. Guerrero.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's everyone's go to because
Yes.
he had that charisma. He had that unique style of like I'm gonna steal the show, whether it's a good match, and if I don't got you on a good match, I'm gonna get you emotionally. And that was
Exactly.
Eddie's. That was Eddie. He always gave his all 100% all time.
What's your favorite Eddie match?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to go with him, the one where him and Rock,
Okay.
because that's a different clash of
It was on
styles,
Raw,
right?
right? It was a
It
Raw
was a Monday
match.
Night Raw. Yep,
Yep.
yep, 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 yep. I think it was like the first time they ever worked with each other, like one of the few times, right? And Eddie had the mullet and everything,
Hmm.
right? But like Rock teasing him, making fun of him, this and that, and Eddie getting more angry, right? And they had a hell of a match. To me, that was one of my favorites because it's a clash of two different styles. You have a Samoan, you have a Mexican. Let's see what kind of matches they could bring to the table.
Definitely. Just to touch on it, you brought up Cena being one of your favorites.
Mm-hmm.
How have you felt about this retirement run so far, and what do you want to see out of the back half or the
it
back
it it it,
quarter.
it it is sinking in. It's like, oh wow, like this really is coming to the end. Like I'm in debate of like, do I want to be that person to be like, yeah, I flew all the way from Chicago to Washington. I paid a crazy amount of money just to see Cena go out there and do his thing, and just be reminiscent of all the memories and all the good times and bad times. You know, I was hoping that the heel turn was gonna be something like impactful, but you know,
Sometimes things happen.
yeah, the boat needs to take a different course sometimes.
Exactly. Uh, you know, throughout our wrestling fandom, you hear the stories all the time of how fans get into their teenage years, they get into their high school years, they just decide to step away from it.
Mhm.
Was that you at all, or was you with wrestling the whole way?
Look, for me, I came back from military school in 2007 ish, 2008, right?
Okay.
And my mom was the one who's like, hey, like, you're always talking about wanting to be a wrestler. You're the one always wanted, saying that you could be in WWE or whatever was out there at the time. I think it was just like TNA, or Wrestling Society X. Ooh, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Um, they're like, hey, she's like, if you're really serious about doing this, like, here is the opportunity. Because there was a shop by or over here in Berwyn, that sells like soccer stuff, but they also had wrestling memorabilia in the background. My mom asked them, like, hey, that's looks pretty local. Like, where is there a school or something? He's like, yeah. She got the info, gave it to me, did not tell me that it was Mexican lucha libre
Mhm.
wrestling, right? I thought it was like WWE, like ha ha ha, you know what I mean? And my literally my first day, I was just puking, like it was scary, and I I left, I left, and I was scared for a good like 5 months,
Okay.
right? And when I decided to come back, because that's when I knew, I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's give it another try, right? I realized that they moved to another Gali moved to another location, and I'm just like, what the heck? Like they took my money, this and that, and finally, eventually got a hold of them, and from that day on, I said, all right, if I really want this, let's do it. That, and also I kept a promise to my one of my brothers that passed away years ago, that if we're gonna fall in love with something, that we're gonna stick with it. He loved cutting hair, right? One of my other brothers, he loved music. He plays drums once in a while, and I just kept my promise of being a wrestler, whether it was in WWE or whatever it was. I was gonna keep my promise.
So, had you been exposed to lucha libre before?
Oh,
Okay.
never. Like, so, like, obviously, like the typical names like La Parca, Blue Demon, El Santo, and all those guys, but like, hey, like, this is their match. This is a match of theirs. Or, hey, this is more of like a different independent scene down in Mexico. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
like I said, you see what you see on like Telemundo or whatever, but never watch a full show.
Okay. So, going into that training session, was it just a huge culture shock for you?
Yeah, major
Okay.
culture shock. Cause like, I'm used to like seeing like wrestlers, run the ropes and lift the leg up, or like how you see it usually, right? And no, I'm getting corrected. It's like, no, it's not how you do it. Like, stop. Like,
Okay.
what they're doing on TV is what they're doing on TV. This is different. And I was like, oh, so what do I have to learn? It's like, you gotta learn the first, have discipline. So I tell the story, and it's a story that I hang up very tight. But when I was training with Discovery, my first few, like when I came back and everything, I was not allowed in the ring.
Okay.
And that's most people, like nowadays. Nowadays, like, we usually people, hey, if you want to be a part of this, come watch and this and that. Disco was like, okay, cool. Your first day back, awesome. Picks me up and gives me a body slam on the concrete floor.
Okay.
And my first like couple weeks, couple months was bumping on concrete floor. And he's like, do you still want this? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, cool. And kept beating me up. And not just me, but like other wrestlers too, right? But like, I just stuck around, and I fell in love with just this adrenaline rush of this passion of like, yeah, this hurts, but I can get right back up and keep going.
How old were you during this training?
12, 13 years old.
Well, so he's young kid
I
out
was a
here.
baby. I was a baby.
Uh, okay,
And
okay.
to see my mom took me, in the first half of my practice in the beginning, right? And
Mhm.
it was hard for her to see me getting my ass beat. Then my dad, once in a while, he'll be like, "All right, I'll take him." Right? It's my turn of the week. God damn it! And then it was my grandma. My grandma was the one who took me to all my practices, stood there, and since she only spoke Spanish and everybody else was speaking Spanish and I understand Spanish and everything, she knew exactly where I was doing wrong. If I was like by her, she'd be like, "Hey, like you're doing this," and I'm like, "How do you know this, lady?" And she's like, "I'm watching, I'm listening." Like, and once in a while she'll pull me to the side and she's like, "Here, let me put you in that. Like, show me how to do it. And I'll do it to you." She'll put a wrist lock to me or hammer lock to me or put me in a headlock, and then she'll be like, "Hey, give it back to me." So that's how I learned how to be careful. Like that, my grandma was another like key factor of my career of like honing my craft, right? So, but beating up old people was starting to become a thing now. I was like, yes,
I
yes.
I love how interactive the whole family was, especially into your early years. Just because, especially 12, 13, you don't see a lot of families nowadays saying, "Hey, let me put my kid in this some may consider dangerous situation
Hmm.
and help them excel at it." And
Hmm.
it seems like your whole family, mom, dad, grandma, was all
Yep.
just like, "He wants to do this. Let's put him in the best position to succeed." Is that how you felt?
Right. Yes. So in like 2008, I was diagnosed with ADHD,
Okay.
and they put my medication, and I was like, all right, it is what it is, right? But like once I got into that ring, I just felt comfortable because I could let the energy out, right? I could let me, the person that's portraying Chico Suave, just be Chico Suave, right? And so it was like a relief for me. I'm like, no more medication. It just, this is my new drug. This is my new, like, if I need to get all this energy out, this is where it is. And I still have that same mentality. Like I got my ADHD. Once I see a wrestling ring, at first I'm just like, but then the brain starts clicking. It's like, oh no, buddy, come on, let's have some fun. But yeah, funny story is, my mom accidentally signed me up. This is before the wrestling, but she signed me up for minor league little kids baseball, right?
Yep.
Or t-ball, should I say at the time? But she did not know it was for people with disability, like actual disability. And
Okay.
she looked at me and she's like, "Oh, I signed you up for the wrong thing." And I'm like, so this time she did her studies. She actually, asked around like, "Hey, what's the best location?" And well, she found Gali Lucha Libre.
Nice. So, as a 12, 13-year-old, how long did you train before you got to actually get in the ring and have your first match?
So it's funny because like I caught on pretty quickly, like to a point. Like I did a seminar with Davey Richards, Tony Kazina, and Balak Fale before there was Bullet Club.
Okay.
Friggin', they're like, that kid. How long has that kid been training? He's like about a month. He's like he's ready to go. So I debuted under a mask as a Tomiko Junior #3, because that's a family that has like 20 kids and that 20 wrestlers. But I debuted as a as a Tomiko Junior #3. Bled from my first match. I actually gave some color. Bled from my chest, and I knew right then I wasn't ready. Right, so I waited an additional 5 years, right? And between those 5 years, not only did I train, but I also did referee. I
Okay.
was also a referee, so I learned how to work inside the ring. I saw how these guys were working the crowd. I was listening. I was seeing how they were working times and like how to communicate and this and that. So that was, some people say like, I would never do a referee. I always suggest, if you don't feel comfortable in the ring yet, if you're training, you don't feel comfortable, be a referee. See how they're working. See how they're fucking manipulating the crowd and bringing on a story, telling a story, and having a great time. Right. That
Okay.
way, when you go out there, it's like, oh, I remember them doing this. Let's try this. You know what I mean? And thankfully I was surrounded by good people. uh One of those people that to this day is like an uncle, like a father figure to me. Like, if I have to go to someone, it would have to be James Russo.
Okay. I've heard that name a couple times.
I love James. James has put up with me for a long time, and I met him before he was James Russo. I remember when he was James something something something. So I can't even say it because I know he'll, if he sees this, he'll strangle me. But like, he's one of those guys. Like I said, like I tell people, it's like before the gray. Like, I knew him. We had piercings all over his face, and he was different person. Like, he was very aggressive. Like, when I say that I got yelled at by him and by everybody in that locker room back in the day, like, I didn't take it as like, oh, they hate me. It's hard love, right? Tough love. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like, to have someone like him still in my life, it means the world.
So, being in that referee role,
Mm.
did it make it easier for you to gain maybe the respect of the guys in the ring while you're still training with them and learning with them, and then also still being there, a part of the show, helping out? Was that something that aided you for that 5 years where you wasn't active as a competitor?
Yeah, people saw that I just wanted to be around the boys. I just wanted to learn, just soak in as much knowledge as I could take, right?
Mhm.
And like I said, eventually I went from being like the referee to being the ring guy. So like, there'll be days where like, legit, I will be the only person tearing down the ring. We'll be at the building, our location, our home company, tear down the ring, load up in the truck all by myself, drive it to the next location, set the ring up and everything. And I noticed that the some of the people were like standing up for me, like, hey, like, this guy's busting his butt off, and you guys are giving him a hard time. Why aren't you guys helping him? And he's like, hey, bud, like, go over there, sit down, breathe, like, you're good. You guys do this. Like, that's messed up. The kid's only like 12, 13, 14. Oh, at that time I was like 18, 19 years old. But he's like, this kid's doing the stuff that you guys should be doing. Setting
Yeah.
the example. So
And I've seen a ring tore down a couple times. It can't be something easy to
it's
do
it's
by
not.
yourself.
No, no. Especially when everything's two, three, four times taller than you. I gotta be like, damn, But but I will say, it's been beneficial because like, I get people come up to me like, hey, like, can you test my ring? Or hey, can you check my ropes? Hey, can you, like, and I take that as a badge of honor because they're trusting me with my knowledge of
Mhm.
my setting up and tearing down, right? You know, I've been in a lot of different type of rings. I think that the safest, the nicest, like, where I'm like, okay, I can take a good bump is at Pow, Jimmy Blaze's company. His ring is really soft, really good ring. You got your brand new baby rings like what Robert has at Eagle Pro, right?
Mhm.
Where it's stiff, but that, like, okay, like, it's gonna be a good time, you know.
So, do you prefer? I guess, kind of getting off topic a little bit. Do you prefer working a newer ring or one that's had some use?
I like the in between. Not so
Okay.
much time, right? It's taken care of, but like, it's been around for a bit.
And
Merle's
condition.
rings, like Merle's rings, it's a hit and miss sometimes, but Merle's rings are always like my go-to, always.
Okay. So you take your 5 or so years to ref and maybe get used to the business and the ins and outs of things.
Mm.
When did you decide that it was time for Chico Suave to make his debut?
I think a year before I graduated high school.
Okay.
Uh, I was doing the whole. It was my last night as a referee. They said, "Hey man, today you're turning bad guy. You're taking your shirt off. You're joining the faction, and you're gonna hit this guy with a chair." And I was like,
Mm.
"Ooh,
Okay.
finally, finally!" And I did a sabu, so where basically I just chuck a chair straight forward to the guy's
Yep.
face. It was a night to remember. I was like, "Oh wow!" I'm like, I'm getting booed. I'm like, "Here we go." And I remember making the times like when everyone was making their personal Facebook and then their wrestling Facebook, and I made mine. It was like Chico Suave, whatever, and I wrote, today is the day of the new hardcore extreme lucha libre Colombian wrestler, something like that. Overhyping myself, right? Not knowing that, hey, that's not you, bud. You're something different. You're still a baby at that time.
When did you figure out that you everybody loves you?
That lucha crowd, that
Okay.
lucha crowd. What is it? Lu- Me being who I am and not being a foodie blood Mexican, I'm being Colombian Puerto Rican. It's like that's a hard crowd to entertain because
Mhm.
they've seen it all, right? Like, what's the difference between Mexican wrestling and American wrestling? Is American is more story based. Lucha Libre is more acrobatics, more of a show, right? Like, look what we could do with the human body, right?
Yep.
And and that's the difference for me. You know what I mean? So if you can win the crowd over without having to do all that acrobatic stuff, then that's how you know, okay, whether it's a good guy or a bad guy. You know what I mean? Me being the goofy guy that I am, and being the goofy bad guy that I could be. The crowd was like, oh, we like seeing this guy get his butt kicked. It's pretty funny, and that's why I know. It's like each time I went out there, it's like, oh, this is gonna be an entertaining match. This is gonna be funny. This guy's gonna get his butt kicked, but we're gonna have a good time. And then the kids, for some odd reasons, the kids are like, "You're tiny, just like me." I
I
was
love
like,
it.
I'm a couple inches taller than you, but okay,
But okay, we're close enough.
close enough. And the
uh,
serious thing is, like, I'll see these kids nowadays, like. I'm like, how old are you? They're like, I'm 12, and I'm like looking up to them. I'm like, what are you eating? What
yes,
was this for
exactly.
me? Like Kevin
It's
Owens' kid,
insane.
like I saw that photo of Kevin Owens' kid, and I'm like, that kid's a
Wow.
tree. That kid's bigger than his dad.
It's funny you say that. I'm 5'6", so I'm not tall by any means. My brother
Mhm,
is 19 years old,
mhm.
6'5",
Get the
giant human being.
get out of
It's like,
here,
for what reason? Why you gotta be so big?
bro. Like, what is your purpose right now? Like, are you gonna maintain? Are you gonna carry me home one day? Like, what is going on?
So, upon doing research,
Hmm?
you've been in a tag team with former member of the ILW pod. They've been on here, former guest, I should say,
Okay.
Nicholas Steele. How did yourself and him come together to form Too Hot for You?
Okay, so the original three was myself, Valentino, and D'Angelo Steele,
Mhm.
right? Well, originally it was me and D Ray, and it was just Carlos. Like, Carlos was one of those guys. Like, "Ah, I'm just gonna throw them together. If it works, it works, right?"
Okay.
And I think Dan was going through his weight loss, so he's losing a lot of weight, so he's looking really good. D'Angelo Steele also, like, he was not doing nothing at the time, and I was just standing there. And Carlos was like, "All right, we're gonna put you guys together. Here's the name." I think it was either James Russo or Overload or someone recommended "Whisper in the Wind" by George Michael, I think it was.
Okay. I think
And
so.
I
It
think
sounds right.
it should be. Hopefully, don't hurt me. But like, we had like a techno version and everything, but it worked. It gelled so perfectly. We were just a comedy duo. We were like the BWO. We were like free. We were like the NWO. You know what I mean? Like, everyone wanted to join Too Hot for You. We were that one team that somehow people like to gravitate towards. I wish we could have taken it to like other locations,
Mhm.
or at least do more with it. We built a great story, the three of us. Eventually, what happened, we all, well, there was a backstage stuff that happened, right? So Valentino D Ray had to leave, right? And he was the person I decided that I wanted to cut my hair in my very first hair versus hair match.
Mhm.
But he left, so I said, "All right, D'Angelo Steele, congratulations, bud. You're cutting my hair." And like, losing your hair is like losing your mask. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It's very, very meaningful. You gotta carry that with honor. And for him to take my hair, it was an honor for him to take it. I wish I tease them. I talk to them once in a while. I'm like, "Hey, let's get the game back together. Let's get the game back. Just for one promo or just one match, you
Mhm.
know. But that will one day, well, hopefully one day it'll happen.
It'll happen. It'll
Yeah.
happen. D'Angelo's still doing his thing, so I
Yep.
can see it. I can
Yeah.
see it.
And that's someone that I would love to like get in the ring with and like get in contact. And but I haven't seen him in such a long time. You know what I mean? Like the I've reached out to him. I'm like, hey man, like I know you're at some locations. Like if you want to work, dude, like I have no problem giving you a good price, like a super cheap price, just because I want to work you, and like say thank you for the fun ride.
So I'm guessing it's just a matter of time then.
Yep.
Before we move on from Galley, I just got to know, for years you was there. How important was Galley and Carlos and those guys to the beginning of your career, getting you started?
Very key, very key. Like I said, like we were a family, and like we were a family. Um, man, like Discovery, and I haven't talked much about Discovery because like I get too emotional about the guy. Discovery, like I say, he beat me up on concrete floor, but then he treated me like a son. Like anytime I messed up, anytime I was flustered, anytime like any if I was in love, I was heartbroken, everything. Like he put me to the side, smacks me in the face very hard. He says, "Man, mijo, let's go to work. Let's relieve you of that anger you have inside you."
Hmm.
And then Carlos is the one's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take you everywhere." Like I was like a good luck charm for him at the time. The same thing as how I am with Robert. Like he'll take me, introduce me to people, and they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and and we grow like that. But yeah, to a point, like people thought that Carlos was my dad, and I'm like, no, my dad's Puerto Rican. My dad's That's Mexican. Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican, Colombian. Though. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, no, no. And he even tell me like, yeah, they thought it was your dad. And I was like, hilarious, dude, hilarious. But I was there for a good 13, 14 years. I gave him all that. It broke my heart when I was excommunicated and I was asked to leave.
Okay.
Right? It was a it hurt big time because you give someone, whether it's in a relationship or business, whatever, you give someone half your life, you give them your attention, your love, you treat them like you're their actual family. Like they say, you hear it all the time. Like in the wrestling business, these men and women that are on the road that you see at shows and shows basically become your family.
Hmm.
More than what your actual family is, right? And so when that happened, it hurt. I was in tears. I couldn't stop crying. Like I didn't know what I did wrong, right? Because this is the pandemic was just about to start, or it was trying to like to calm down a little bit, where we were allowing people to come in the buildings. Carlos was not running shows. I was asked, "Hey, bud, we know you want to wrestle. We know you love this, but we need a referee." This is Zello. This is with Valentino's company. He's like, we need a referee. Like, we'll pay you. We'll take care of you at the end, short at the end of everything. I'm like, okay, cool. When Carlos got wind of it and everything, saw that I was doing the referees, like, dude, you devalue yourself. You brought yourself down. You this and that. I'm like, nah, bro. I feel like I opened no opportunities for me because I'm going with my gut at the time you
Hmm.
know and it sucks, and I hate that back then, and maybe once in a while today, that there's people's like, you can't work anywhere else but here because they won't take care of you because I'll take care of you. Like
Yeah.
I hate that mentality. I always tell people, if you go to shows and if you keep going to shows and they don't use you, if they want you, they want you. If they don't want you, don't take it personal. It's business. Go out, stretch your legs, make a name of yourself, then come back and be like, you want to do I bring anything to the table? And if not, thank you for everything. Part ways.
Exactly.
But with Carlos, it was more of like, hey, you did this, you're out.
Okay.
And I'm just like, huh. And who did I call? Who did I text first? James Russo. And he was mad. He was furious. I remember him telling him like that when I texted him that, he messaged Carlos and said, "I'm done with Gali. Like, how are you gonna give your back to someone who gave you their life?" And that's why I carry James very very close to the heart and everything. Like he was one of the guys who stood up for me, even though he treated me like shit. Right? Like he did it out of love, and he did something that no one else would have done, and have my back.
Definitely.
Hmm.
So, you know, a theme I've noticed throughout the story so far is you've been able to have people like I guess Carlos and
Hmm.
James, and I mean now Robert Anthony
Hmm.
come and kind of take you under their wing, kind of so to speak, and
Yeah.
help bring you up through this business. Do you think that's helped you in your journey?
Yeah. Are you kidding me? James Russell was the guy who said, "Hey, if you're leaving, learn a different hold." So that's how I got in contact with the Freelance Academy. I mean, obviously, I know Matt Nix. I know a lot of people like these companies before they were companies. Like I've known the people before, right? So I reached out to Matt Nix. He said, "Yeah, dude, doors are open. Like, once again, it's during the pandemic and everything." And I walk into practice. Who was there? Kylie Ray and Isaiah Velasquez. They opened their arms. They gave me a hug. They're like, "Welcome to home. Welcome home." And I was like, "Okay, here we go. Here we go." And I remember the first day, I'm puking, right? Because not being in the ring for a long time, being out of shape, I was puking. And I turn around, who's right there? Mustafa Ali. And I
Nice.
was like, "Oh my God, no, Ali, no." And he's looking at me. He's like, "You got COVID?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "You got a concussion?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Why are you puking?" I'm like, "I'm out of shape." He's like, "Okay, okay,
Easy enough.
yeah."
So, so transitioning from lucha libre and then going to the freelance training academy,
Mhm.
was that a shock for you?
Uh, no, it's more of like, hey, I have to slow down now.
Okay.
Major, because like lucha, if you've seen if you AAA or CML or whatever, or even the independents, I mean, unless they're good, like they're always moving fast, flipping around, this and that. And I was going 110 miles an hour,
Okay.
and I'm just like, that Isaiah is telling me like, dude, like we get it, you're good, but you need to slow down. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And then they'll be like, hey, train number two, we're gonna do some chain wrestling. And I'm going very stiff, very snug, and this and that. It's like, you don't have to be that hard. They're kids. And I'm like, I'm sorry, this is how I was brought up. It's like,
Hmm.
and like with their knowledge and with their tutelage, like I learned to slow down and to be able to tell a story and to like basically like breathe in the fresh air and let the story tell itself.
So, going from the freelance academy and then transitioning onto their shows,
Mm.
what did that look like for you?
Well, I remember them starting to do dark matches, and they were starting to do it for the academy. So
Hmm.
luckily, I was asked to be one of the first people to participate in the first ever academy freelance academy show,
Okay.
dark match, I say. And it was me versus Xavier Sky. Luckily, well, I won the match and everything. I was the bad guy. Luckily, it's funny because I was the bad guy of the match, right? And we did a complete 180
Okay.
because the crowd was like, we know who you are. We like you. You don't have to pretend to be this bad person." I was like, "No, no, I'm bad. I'm a bad guy." But yeah, and eventually they started putting me on the dark matches, taking me off the dark matches and putting me in scrambles. And that's where I think the world was like keen, like, "Oh, what's this? Who's this?" And then I think it was Robert Anthony who said it, like, you're basically everyone's friend here. And that's how it started. Like everyone who saw me, "Oh, we know you, we know you, we know you. Oh, we seen you over here. Oh, you've talked to us over here." And I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "All right, then we're friends." And every time I see anybody familiar, I saw you guys at the last show at Bloodstone. I'm like, I know these guys. and I gave you guys a hug, a handshake, and everything, and that's how it is. Like they exposed me, and then I just took the advantage of like, hey, this is my face, this is my face, this is who I am. Love me, love me, take me in.
I love it. And it's worked for you so far throughout your career. It's been something that they're attracted to you.
Yeah, and the thing, like I said, like I've been blessed to travel a little bit. You know what I mean? And I'm talking like out of Chicago and up in Wisconsin, down to Indiana. I've been blessed to go to Vegas, New York, Ohio, Michigan, Canada, right? And to hear everyone's reactions like, "Oh, you're something different," right? Like we like you. You're a cartoon, and that's where the human cartoon came from, you
Mhm.
know. Because I'm one of those like Bugs Bunny, like yeah, like what kind of situation can we get ourselves in, and how can we get out, right? And what
Okay.
kind of impact can we do? So like, my philosophy is if you're gonna stand out, do the best way you can. After every match, after every show, I will go out and shake everyone's hand that's either inside the building or even outside. There's just like, oh, we're just taking a smoke break or whatever. Like I will go out or I'll be by the door and saying, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you so much for coming out. Even if I'm blown up, if I'm sweaty and everything, like I'm gonna go out my way and shake everyone's hand. Just because I want them to know that I care.
Well, and as I can contest, at Bloodstone Wrestling, you were bleeding all over the place, shaking hands, saying thank you, which was where I got the idea to ask you again if you wanted to be on here. But I was like, my dad actually looked at me and was like, "Have you tried to get him on?" And I said, "We've talked about it. We just things
Can
miss,
never, can never get
can never
things.
make it work." And I was like, "We gotta make it." He was like, "You gotta have him," and I was like, "Okay." And my dad pointed out, he was like, "It's the fact that he goes around, he cares enough, bleeding everywhere." He's came up to, like you said, you came up to us probably 2 or 3 times. Just, "Hey, you have a good show? Do you enjoy it?" And those are things that matter, especially to a fan base as deep as the fans are, or
Mm,
as connected as the fans are in Chicago. It's probably why you are as loved as you are, is because you
correct.
take that extra attention to make sure everyone in the building had a
It's
good time.
good time because if I hear like, and then I hear like some people mess around like, nah, I didn't like your match, or oh no, Chica, I don't like you, but they give me that wink. I'm like, okay, cool. You're trying to
Yeah.
work me. I see you. I see you. But yeah, and like I said, it doesn't just say in the mid in Chicago. Like what I do in Chicago, I'll do the same thing in New York. I would do the same thing in Ohio. I would do the same thing in Vegas. Like I'm going to shake your hand, you know, and if I can leave a good impact when I come back, people are gonna be like, I remember you. You were nice to me.
Exactly.
What do you have right there for to sell, or what can I do to support you? I'll be
Mhm.
like, just keep saying my name and like keep giving me that same reaction, you know. Uh, and I'll be honest with you, like every time I go out that curtain and I hear those people go crazy, I ask myself, what am I doing? Like, what am I legit? Like, what am I doing to get this type of reaction? Like, it's humbling. Oh fuck, I'm getting a little emotional. I do it, and it's like, and I get into the zone, and right, I'm in my match, but like, I have people come up to me, it's like, we see the passion, we see the love that you have, and this and that, and I'm just like, okay, but where? But why? Like, what is it? Like, it's a question I'm always asking myself every day. It's like, what is it about me? And if it's not me, what is it that I bring to the table that draws people to me? You know what I mean? Robert Anthony says you're one of those people where there could be 1,000 people in the room or 100 people in the room, let's say, and like you walk in, people are gonna try to gravitate towards you.
Yes.
Kofi Kingston, when he was at Eagle Pro at the Forge, he was watching backstage everyone's match, and I did the gauntlet match. I think I wrestled like 4 or 5 other guys in one
Mhm.
match, and I did the thing. It went great. He pulled me to the saw him. He gave me a thumbs up and he pulled me to the side. He's like, dude, like you have an aura around you. You have something that very rare people have, and you have that charisma, and this and that. Like, whatever you're doing, keep it up. And I'm just like, what am I doing? What? Please, please, former WWE World Champion Kofi Kingston, tell me what can I do to like be better? Like, not even I'm not even looking for a contract. I'm not looking for a tryout. Cool, a dark match, an opportunity. Cool, a contract. Look, I think that ship has sailed for me. Right, I'm having so much fun what I'm doing now, and I don't think there's nothing in the world I could that trade it for sure.
What makes you say that the ship sailed on a contract?
Uh what is it? I mean, I'm already 31, and I know there's people that's older that are getting offers, but like, everyone has their mold. Everyone has their like. This is what we're looking for, and obviously, I don't fit that mold. I'm not tall. I'm not ripped, right?
Hmm.
But I'm like, I tell them like, if you put me in the ring with someone, I guarantee you, it would be either the best match where you could draw more money in the future, or something like, hey, we'll bring you back and we'll see what more we can do with you.
Okay.
But for me, for a contract, yeah, I don't think I fit their mold. Not saying if it ever does come up, whether it's in the U.S., whether it's in Mexico, and if God really wanted to bless me and send me to Japan,
Hmm.
you know, it's all about learning, because you're always learning this business, man. You're always learning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So something I gotta ask
Mm,
about freelance.
mm.
You've worked your way up from training all the way up to champion. Um, your first championship, though, I believe in freelance was their FU Independent Championship. What was going through your mind when you won that championship?
So the FU is for the Freelance Underground, the sister company, formerly
Yeah.
known as Underground Wrestling.
Okay.
Until they teamed up with Matt Nix and they formed Freelance Underground. Almost like a developmental, like
Like an
deep south.
NXT.
Yeah, like almost
Right.
like an NXT for like the students, but also
Okay.
like they before it was on Freelance Underground, they had their roster, right? But all
Okay.
those guys have eventually grown up, got older, married, wife, kids, So Underground was more like, let's do it for the students, let's do it in Joliet, which was fine. Um, yeah, winning my first title right there was a good old smack in the back of the head. Like, congratulations, kid. Like, this is the taste of championship gold or silver or whatever it was. And I carried, and who was it who gave it to me? It was James Russo. Here we go again, that name. He was like, congratulations, kid. You're my champ. Make me proud.
Hmm.
And eventually, sadly, Underground had to close its doors. You know, um, that's not dead. It's on hold, right? We are. I want to say we because I'm part of the team sometimes. Of looking into new venues, of like bringing them back and like different location. Especially, we're trying to avoid the Eagles Club. I believe that let that place be itself.
Okay.
So everyone runs there, but I'm here to say like underground wrestling will one day return. You know, but that doesn't mean, like I said, doesn't mean we're dead. We still do our hot sauce fest in Joliet,
Hmm.
which is a hot sauce expo. I recently just won back my title. I lost it last year to Alfonso Gonzalez, and now I just got it back. So I'm gonna try to defend that title in other locations against other workers that I feel like they deserve something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you, I believe you are the current freelance legacy champion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You defeated Cota Hernandez and Saban Gage in a triple
Three
threat.
way. Mm-hmm.
What was that match like for you? Tell us about the build and what was it like being able to overcome all the odds and become legacy champion?
So we gotta go back to February, because that's when it all started.
Okay.
With the match with me and Saving Gage, right? Um, it was the first singles. They gave us, I think, like 15 minutes
Hmm.
and or 10, 12. But me and Saban, for some odd reason, have the best chemistry because we went out there and we tore it up, right? We've never wrestled in a singles, right? We've done one scramble, maybe a tag match, but we've never done singles, right? And I just said, let's just have fun, right? And that's how it all started until the very end of that match, where he attacked me with a chair and
Mhm.
basically concerto me head to ring post with a chair. And that's how it all started. Like the crowd was like, "Oh, we want more of this," and we started the story right there, where eventually Saban got a little too cocky. He wanted to go against his cousin, Coda Hernandez, go for the title. And they went back and forth, with Saban not getting that the victories, but he just like a dog kept biting, kept biting, kept biting. And then
Mhm.
eventually it was the freelance anniversary shows where I made my return. I did a little business and I said, I'm not done with you. And we continued the story. Eventually it was me and Coda, and it was the three-way, you know.
Okay.
So my mindset during all this is don't mess up. Don't mess up. Don't mess up. This is your opportunity. Like I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the outcome of all this. At the end, I could probably just not win the title. I could just be like, all right, well, thank you for everything. Go back in line. You know what I mean? Or
Mhm.
go back to the locker room, and if we need you, we need you, right? And they kept going. The ball kept going. It kept going. The ball got bigger and bigger, and I'm just like, oh snap! Comes the three-way, and I'm just nerves. I'm just like shaking. I'm making sure because they told us like, oh yeah, you guys. I think they said we were main eventing, and I'm just like, "Ug- oh, oh no, and I gotta give it up to those guys. Those guys are hell of a performer. Coda has a huge future ahead of him. Saban can't talk for shit on the mic, and he's a horrible heel. But the talent, the skills that kid has, I could always say like if you need someone to put in the work, those two will always put in the work, right?
Absolutely.
As a tag team or as singles, like so that's the rub. That's me giving them the rub. But yeah, I remember holding Coda down one, two, three, and I'm just like I looked at him. I'm like asshole. I looked up, and once again, here's that name, James Russo, stands. I've never seen him say stands, clapping his hands, and it's sunk in right there. And the obviously was sweat, but the tears, the emotion, it's just all that just hit me right there, and I'm just like, all everything the 17, 18, 19 years that I've given, that I put my body through, that I have cried, I have yelled, I've been mad, I've been happy, it all came for this moment right here. And it's a moment like once in a while I'll watch the match and I just say to myself like, you got to put in more work now. The real work starts now. So it's humbling, very humbling.
So you started 12, 13 years old, 31. You have a company now that's put the banner on you. They're giving you the ball. It's your
Mhm,
time to run.
mhm.
What's that feel like for you? You've worked so long to get this, to have a company say, "Hey, we want you to, carry us on your back." What's going through your mind? How are you preparing to handle this situation?
It's something it's like having a child. You're not prepared for it. You
Okay.
know what I mean? It's here is there's no instructions. Here's the title. Do us proud. Don't do anything stupid. Right? Don't say anything. Don't do anything stupid. Put yourself in other people's shoes. You are now a target on your you have a target on your back now, right? You have all these eyes on you, and I told them like I appreciate the opportunity. You know, I will do you guys proud. Like I believe that if there is somewhere we need to work on, let me know and I will work on it ASAP. You know what I mean? It's a trust, it's a bond, it is a responsibility, right? And I told them like I want to do something different with this for with my reign, right?
Mhm.
Um, and James was very supportive with this, you know, and also Matt Nix. I told them what I want to do with the legacy title is build a legacy, my legacy with it, and defend the title other than other places than freelance
Okay.
and outside of Chicago. I said, let's really like put some pressure on me. Let's really like push me to the point where I'm like, I can't no more. And I'm like, I want to go to different states, whether it's flown, paid for, or driving or whatever. Like, I want to defend the title. I want to build a legacy. Like, that's the pressure I want. And to go out to another state, not just represent the company, not just represent the belt, but also represent the city, the people, and give off a great impression, right? You hear the stories like, oh, I met this wrestler and it wasn't that great. Like, nah, man. Like when it comes to Chico Suave, what you see in Chicago, you're gonna see everywhere else, whether it's a champion or not. So that is my mindset and my motivation right now is, all right, you're trusting me with this. Now I really need you to trust me with this. Really, like they have, they bring people. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? We've seen a lot of names, Machine Guns, Santana Jackson. All these different names come by. Let's Why not send someone from here out there and see
Okay.
how successful this person is with the title in a different state, in a different crowd. You know what I mean? I feel like that should be my legacy of like getting out of the comfort zone and challenging the company of like put me in a different type situation, make me work hard.
So you want to not only grow your brand but expand the brand for freelance.
Just the freelance brand, the Chicago brand, the Chicago independent scene itself. You know what I mean?
I
Like
love it.
there's people that we see them we see them on TV and they're like, well, from Chicago, Illinois, CM person, right? And it's like, okay, people's like, okay, well, that's Chicago. Well, that's not the only person representing Chicago. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Cabana is not the only person representing Chicago, right?
Hmm.
I want to be one of those people. Be like, he's representing Chicago, and he's not even on TV, and he's doing this because he loves it.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. So speaking of representing Chicago, I guess what's it like for you to go to promotions like your GCWs or your NWAs and go in there and showcase what Chicago wrestling has?
Um, it's great, great. I had for sure with GCW. That is a door that's I think it's open for me still. Right.
Okay.
I left a good impact with Brett Lauderdale. Especially when the last two times he's used me, it's been like legit. Hey, you have 5 minutes to change and put your boots on because we need you last minute.
Hmm.
Brett Lauderdale put me on a show. I think it was like 2 years ago.
Hmm.
I recently just lost my tooth and everything. I was going through a lot of headaches, but like I think it was Ohio. I think it was Ohio. I was getting food and I get a call from August Matthews. I was with the Bang Bros. Well, I don't think I can say that, but I don't care. Um, I get a phone call from Bangin Matthews. Like it was August. He's like, "Hey, how far are you from like the venue?" I'm like 2 minutes away. He's like, Your match is up." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Come back now. You're on." And I'm like, "No friggin' way." So I grabbed like the food. I looked back and I don't think the food was ready. I just reached in, grabbed whatever I could, and just left. And Buddy's like, you're good, you're good, you're good. I'm like, okay, cool. Meow, right? And I get there. I'm literally like my shirt's off, my pants is off as I'm running into the building. I sit down. I look right next to me. It's Maki Ito. and I'm just like, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. I am so sorry. And I'm like, oh, I think I'm in the women's locker room or somewhere in the between point. But I'm just like putting my stuff on, and she's like, it's okay, it's fine. She laughed and everything. I'm just like, like at the end of the show, obviously, I was like, oh, thank you so much, thank you so much. I'm like, no offense, I'm not a pervert. I'm not a bad person. Like, so please, like, understand. And it was myself, Jimmy Lloyd, and Caleb Conway,
Mhm,
versus Los Mellizos,
mhm,
Cipotle and Medio Extremo, and also Crazy King. And these guys are deathmatch wrestlers from Mexico. But luckily, I've met them before at Gali, so like they knew who I was, and they're like, okay, we know what we could do. And there was a lot of chair shots, and I know the finish was a Doomsday Canadian Destroyer onto a door that I know for sure. If you see the footage, we missed the door by like it's like 3, 4 inches, right? So I I hit the door, but it went straight to the ring, like straight canvas and everything. Um, but like I did stuff that I've never like you don't ever see me go to the top rope and dive out to the crowd or anything. That day I said, today I'm doing it, and I did it, and I'm like, oh my goodness. One of the highlights of that match is I do a tope con hilo, where it's
mhm,
basically you're running right between the ropes, you're doing a flip right onto the person, and you're basically landing on your butt on the floor,
mhm.
right? But for some odd reason, I did it, and I landed on a chair. I put my arm around a girl that was right there. I looked at her. She looked at me. I'm like, I'm not gonna ask for a kiss because there's a camera right here. I should have asked for a kiss, but I'm
That'd have
like,
been spot on.
the camera was just spot on, like right on my face. And then looked at her, and she's like, yep, yep. And I'm just like,
Perfect.
I don't know how this happened, but it happened. And it's one of my, like, I think that moment is what won Brett Lardell with me. And he's like, I like you, kid. Like, thank you, right? Especially last minute. Um, it was awesome. Like, I've never seen August Matthews smile and be so proud. I've never seen David Bang be so proud. Like, it was a night. Like, thanks to those two guys, like, for bringing me along after I lost my job at that time, after I just lost my tooth and everything. uh those guys like took good care of me, and that night, would always be one of my highlights. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can find the full match right there. I think it's like 23 minutes,
Wow.
right? Good time. It was a really, really fun time for me, to be honest. And then brought there once again, used me again at Talia Hall here in Chicago.
Okay.
It was originally supposed to be Kiara Rage, I think Range, versus Rachel Armstrong, but Rachel got into a situation, I think a car situation or something like that, and I'm right behind James Russo. There's that name again, and I'm eating a hot dog. Mhm. Bro, I'm like, the show's not starting. I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat my hot dog. I'm gonna eat my fry. I'm drinking my Diet Coke, whatever. Brett Lardell comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, got your stuff on you?" I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay. Turns around, walks away. I was like, all right, well, whatever. I'm start eating my hot dog again. And then James turns around. He's like, hey, dumbass, go get your stuff. You're on. I was like, oh. And I wrestled the girl, and like, sorry, but I beat the girl up and I won. But at the end, I shook her hand and I'm like, hey guys, like, give her a round of applause. She was not ready for this. I wasn't ready for this. We literally had like 5 minutes to put the match together. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So it's like I felt bad for her, but then again, hey, shit happens.
You made the best out of the situation.
I tried to, but when she got that reaction, her husband was in the crowd too. He's like, "Hey man, I love you to death, bro. But you gotta really beat up my wife." I'm like,
It's my
"Sorry,
job.
yeah, I get paid to do this. I get paid to beat up old people too, buddy. You got a grandma?"
You got a grandma. Grandma's next. So, we've talked about the theme of people taking you under your wing. Have you been able to now big brother some people and bring some people under your wing and help them?
I've been blessed opportunities. I've been, blessed once in a while.
Okay.
Whether it's a hit and miss, it's a hit and miss. I'm not gonna say that I'm the greatest. Like I'm guaranteeing the whole world for you, right? But I'm like, hey, if I can give you some advice, like I know Tornado Kid at Freelance. He's one of the someone who's always bothering me. He's like, hey, like what can I do to get to get on the shows and this and that? I'm like, Russell Moore. Like he's one of those kids that he wanted to go to AEW, and I'm like, brother, like everyone wants to go to AEW. I'm like, the best advice I could tell you is build your brand, go elsewhere, else, build your reputation, and then come back and then present it to them. If they want you, they want you. If they
Hmm.
don't, they won't give you the time of day. You know what I mean? So he's like, okay. And, he started seeing, all right, show up, use me? No? Okay. Stick around, have fun, build that relationship, go back again. They use you? Yes? There you go. That's your foot in. You know what I mean? He just got on the last show of Freelance. He was in the dark match. He was literally just the student match. And then on my birthday on the 17th, he was on the main show close to like main event. So it's like, buddy, look, you see, like you just gotta trust the system. You gotta believe in yourself. Don't let anybody get in your head. Work on yourself. And once in a while, like he'll send me a snap of, I'm at the gym. I'm doing cardio. Are you doing cardio? Chico, So that's someone that I'm happy to have under my once in a while under my wing. But yeah, like I said, I if I see someone that's putting in the work or not having the same opportunities, come with me for a second. Let's go up to Wisconsin. Let's go to Minnesota. Let's go to Indiana. Let's go wherever I'm going. And if I can get you on, I'll get you on. And if I can get you on with me to wrestle me, even better. You know what I
I love
mean?
it. So, Bloodstone just had their inaugural show. You took on Doctor Redacted in a very brutal hardcore match for
Everyone's
the
thinking it was a
event.
death match. I'm like, no, it's a hardcore match. Hey,
Hardcore match.
if we were gonna do like that, trust me, like there was some stuff I was willing to take,
Okay.
but camera guy Nick and said no because of the building because
Okay.
there were rules and they wanted more money this and that, so we had to keep it monotone at a certain point.
PG-13.
PG-13, maybe a little bit of 14 right there.
What what goes in your like going through your mind when you go into obviously Dr. Redacted is a renowned deathmatch specialist. So what's going through your mind getting in the ring with somebody who has that kind of who has those kind of plays in their book?
Have fun,
Okay.
have fun, because if you're going in there with a scare mentality, like something bad's gonna happen,
Of
right?
course.
um So originally, I had a different role on that show. I was
Okay.
going to be a commissioner or like a special referee for a
Right.
match, right? And something happened where one of the opponents couldn't make it, and so camera guy Nick hit me up. He's like, "Hey, bud, I know you didn't want to wrestle last time because you're mentally you weren't there yet, but like if I could get Doctor Redacted, would you be down to have a match with them?" And I said, yes. I immediately, I'm like, yes, keep me redacted. That's someone, first of all, I'm not a deathmatch wrestler. I'm not a hardcore wrestler. I'm an entertainer. I'm a wrestler. And to be put in that situation, I had to say yes. I'm like, this is someone who can either push me to my limit and expose me to a new world of like professional wrestling, or I could get my ass beat and never want to do it again. Right. And we did it. I met Redacted, and I've seen Redacted a couple of times, so I can't be like, oh, I'm afraid and everything. I'm like, okay, I see your type of matches. I was there when at GCW American Most Wanted, it was Effie versus Redacted, same scenario where it's for the title. Oh, that match was for the title. But I'm like the weapons, the way they were building, the way the match was structured. I'm like, okay, I have a mindset of where he's gonna want to go, right? But and I told him, he messaged me on Instagram. He's like, "Hey, dude, like, I'm excited, this and that. Like, are you okay with blood?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." He's
Of
like,
course.
Are you okay with gusset plates?" And I just said, "Never taken it before. Let's do it." He's like, "All right." He's like, I made a request for some other weapons, and sadly, we didn't get all of them, but we worked with what we had. The trash can, the gusset plates. I was okay with light tubes, to be honest. I was like, okay, light tubes, I'm okay with that, you know. But next is like, no, we proved that we don't need to go that extreme, that dangerous, especially with someone as dedicated and as lovely as you are. Like, you don't have to go out there and kill yourself. I'm like, okay, but redacted, like I said, took me, sat me down, explained everything to me, and he said, all right, see you out there. And I think we tore it up. We had a good time. I know Robert Anthony and the guys had another opinion on the match on their podcast, but
Okay.
for what I had with these guys with Redacted, like that's a match that just here's a little scar. I don't know if you can see, but there's barely any scars now.
You're a little beat up.
Yeah, little scars, but
We're just over a week and a half out too, so I mean, you're still
hmm
showing the battle wounds.
battle wounds and everything. Um, but I got people asking me, sliding to my DMs or in person asking me, so are you a deathmatch wrestler now? Are you in that? I'm like, no. No, I'm gonna keep it as special as I can. Like now that you guys know that I'm willing to do this, especially just this is just the first step, right? You're doing the gusset to the arm, light tubes to the head. That's the different world, That's
Yeah.
I'm just dipping the toe in for how far can I go, right? Um, I'm saying that it's gonna be my last time, right? I think there's more down the line. We just gotta make sure I pick the right opponent when it's done.
I like the idea of keeping it special.
Hmm.
Like you said, I mean, just doing it, pulling that out at the right times.
Hmm.
I think, for the inaugural event for Bloodstone, trying to make a mark, it made a lot of sense, and it contrasted very well with everything else on the card. Even the main event was a street fight between
It's a street fight.
Hernandez and Coda Hernandez, like two very different matches though, because like Redacted has his style of deathmatch wrestling, which contrasted very well with how Coda and Supervex did their street fight.
Hmm.
And it, I liked how it spaced out the show. I liked how it stood out against everything in the show because you had your high flying Santana and Becca had the kind of comedy fun part of the like show, and then yourself, I lost you.
Yeah, it was perfect. We didn't do too much. Like you think Bloodstone, you think like, oh, it's gonna be a bunch of death matches. It's gonna be a bunch of glass. No, 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 no. What camera guy Nick has right now is something special. Obviously, for especially for the first one, almost having a complete sold out show. It's a blessing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like he right now is in the stage of like learning more and more and more because he's been around for a bit, and we were just hanging out yesterday and everything. He's surrounded by good people,
Hmm.
right? And that's why Bloodstone's gonna grow more in the future,
Yes.
is because he's surrounded by good people who have the same goal of growing, of being more than just a one trick pony, right?
Hmm.
Backstage, it's Cameron Nick, myself, Robert Anthony, Coda, Alfonso Gonzalez, like everyone there is working together. And I say mostly them. I'm there just to be like, hey, you guys need help. Like I'm like how ego and how everyone sees me is like HR, like the
I
human
love it.
resource, like, hey, we need something done, or we need someone, like, can you figure anything? Like, I'm the person to go to, and I'm within like 25 or an hour. I'm like, all right, this is what I got. This is what I found out so far. That's that. Robert Anthony gave me that nickname at Eagle Pro of HR
Your
Suave.
HR Suave. I like it.
Yes, yeah.
So talk. I mean, bringing up ego and Robert Anthony, it leads into my next two
Yeah.
questions. Um, what do you think about you made ego or Robert Anthony gravitate towards you and maybe want to take you under his wing?
It was more me going to him.
Okay.
right? He popped up a few times at the wrestling at Freelance Academy's location at some point.
Mhm.
You know, get back into ring shape and everything. And every time I was in the ring doing whatever we were supposed to do, I just look at him and he has his little beady eyes just open up, and all you see is just blue because he has blue eyes, and he's like, "This kid's good. This kid's good. Oh, hey, hey, is anybody seeing this? Oh, you know." And eventually, the academy moved to Berwyn, and it was right there. And I just went up to him, like, "Hey, man, like, we're gonna be good friends. We're gonna be best friends." And he's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yep." And that's how he remembers it. I don't remember it like that, but that's how he remembers it. Like, he just came up to me. He's like, "We're gonna be the best friends." I'm like, "Okay." And then he gave me his number, and ever since then, it's been nothing but great, learning from someone who, with his experience from working the independent and then getting signed and then getting let go and then now starting his own company. It's like, okay, there's a tree right here, and I'm just learning from it. Whether we talk or not, like, I always know if anything, I could always reach out to him. You know what I mean? We beat each other up. He helped. He tried. He did try to help me get a contract with the NWA at one point of like giving me, I guess you say, the flowers, or like giving me the exposure
Mhm.
of like, hey, like, here's this kid. He's really good, right? Um, things didn't work out. Was a little hurt. Was a little like, and this is the first time I'm gonna be honest with you with this during that times when I never got that contract or never got, I was really like jaded, like what's wrong with me? Like, what did I do wrong? Did I say something wrong? Like, what the fuck? And I, even to Robert, like, I held it against him, like, you promised me, bro. Like, but then again, and it's like, hey, it's not for everyone. He said it himself. It's not for everyone. You know, don't take it to offense. And I'm like, okay, okay, and that was a mental loop that I had to go through for a bit because I'm just like, man, like, Robert doesn't like me. Like, that's the reason why I didn't get the he doesn't like me. I did something wrong. And he's like, no, dude, like, it, it's not in the cards. And I'm like, okay, cool, right? Then he started Eagle Pro, and it's been nothing but the best thing that ever happened, right? In Joliet right now. Uh, the relationship we have with Navarre Farm, with the kids with Down syndrome and everything. It isn't having kids, like, they're grown people who do more than what I could do. Like, it surprised me sometimes when we do shows at the farm and everything, like, how well mannered, how well behaved, and how well, like, educated these people are, right? Even having a disability, like, they could do more on a farm than I could do in my own house, right? It's crazy. Like, they're gardening, they're going to like MMA practices, and I'm like, that's crazy. Me and Robert had the blessing, the opportunity to put a rent a ring, put it there, and do a one-on-one session with with those folks out there and everything. And it was like a way of us giving back, right? They opened their doors for us. Let's give it back. And Connor and all those guys out there, I love them to death. Shout out to Navarre Farm. Like, it is a good place for people to grow, for real. Like, yeah. But with Robert, like I said, like, as much as I'm a headache to him and how much he beats me up, it's a father son. It's a big brother, little brother. It's all tough love, you know.
What's been the biggest, like, pieces of advice you've been able to get from him, whether it's inside the ring or outside the ring?
Be confident. Be confident. Be confident. Hone your craft. Believe in yourself. That's one
Mhm.
thing. One thing is, and I went with that mentality. It's like I'm gonna make people believe in professional wrestling. I'm gonna make them believe in my matches and this and that. And that was the key thing. Believe. And I
Mhm.
think everyone, I see like right now at my strength coach's house, like his wall has just believe. It's like don't stop, work, push, push. Robert was the first person to actually integrate the believe in yourself, have the confidence. You're Chico Suave. Go out there and show them who you are because you are the best. And I'm just like, thank you, Robert. And then I look across the ring and I'm wrestling Robert Anthony and he's beating the crap out of me. But yeah, like he did a lot, you know. Um I feel like there's moments that I feel like I let him down. I'm not gonna lie. Like I always seek that approval. Oh man, I'm getting emotional. Damn, getting real emotional. I always try to seek that approval because you know you do something for so long, and I lost Disco, so I can't seek his approval. The best person I got right now is Rob, and James Russo also. But like, hey Rob, like, and I express it to him. Like he knows like where he stands in my heart. And then everybody else too. Everybody else that Coda and Save and all these guys. Like I let them know I'm like no matter what, like you are family to me at the end of the day, you know. Yeah,
Chico,
yeah, yeah.
I
Who
want
wanted
to
to do this, man? Who wanted to go here?
I want to say thank you for your authenticity and your openness, because sometimes people in this business, they could put
Man,
on a shield or a mask, and they're behind it. For you to be open and honest about your not only your opinions but your feelings is,
it
I feel
sucks.
like
It's hard. It's
it's
hard.
hard.
It's the hardest thing, and it's something I'm trying to work on. Because I did have a habit of like lying to Rob and stuff like that. Like like every kid or every person that's just um what is it like growing up in this business, like I just want their approval, just that rub in the head. Not saying that I'm not saying that my relationship with my real dad is not bad. Like me and my real dad we're tight. Like
Yeah.
he'll try to go to all my shows, and like I'll hear the guys in the back like, yeah, I saw your dad. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, yeah. He was watching wrestle. Like my dad has a tendency, like he sees them big, he'll be like, oh, ooh, ooh. And at the last indoor or the dome baseball dome we
Mhm.
did for Eagle Pro, my dad was there and August Matthews was right behind him, and he's like, I've never seen a man cry for his son like that. And I was like, God damn it, oh no, I don't need to hear that. He's like, yeah, dude, like your dad was crying. I was like, he's seen me wrestle 100,000 times already, or at least he tries to, and how he's crying.
I love it.
So, yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like I don't want people to be like, oh, like the Shield is like he doesn't have a good relationship. I have a great relationship with everyone. You know what I mean? And if I don't, I'm gonna fix it up right away. Some way or somehow. But like, you know, I'm just trying to be as positive, be as happy, and just give out as much glee and as much happiness as we can. Right now, times is tough, dude. Stuff
Yes.
out there is rough. I hear it, I see it, and it's just like, what can I do? Well, I can entertain you guys, make you guys forget. And this is the best thing I hear from AEW. This is from AEW now. Is I want you when you see me wrestle is forget about what's happening out in the world. Forget about your worries. Forget about the bills. Forget about the person that's fighting you. Like come here and just lose yourself in the sport of professional wrestling. Whether it's me, whether it's anybody else, it's a rough world, and we need our breaks. We need our disattachment from the real world and just be ourselves.
Exactly. Couldn't have explained it better myself, Chico.
Hmm.
One more question, then I'm gonna let
Please
you
shoot,
go.
shoot.
We're at the back end of 2025. What's your goals for 2026? Where's Chico Suave want to be in this wrestling world in 2026?
Uh uh for sure I would say, Russell more, but grow more as a wrestler, travel, start, I don't know, building my brand elsewhere. It's a lot. It's a heavy loaded question because it's like, man, I want to do this, I want to do that. Um, for sure, I want to get into the movie business, the
Okay,
acting, let's say that.
I like it.
I've been in one sketch. It's called the Wrestling Ring, and it's a wedding, and it takes place in a church and everything. But I'm in the background. I'm there as the coach. Out of all things, I'm like, wow. I was like, yeah, kid, like I trained you for all your life for this, and now you're getting married, and all of a sudden some guy breaks down, rips his sleeves out. It's a wrestling match, this and that, and I get my butt kicking it, but like. Man, like that was
It's fun.
fun. Obviously nowadays, like she was doing that because Cody Rhodes was on the Naked Gun, or Batista and Cena are going to the movies. Like, man, like even before professional wrestling, I was doing gymnastics.
Hmm.
Right, I was doing a little bit of ballet, but I was doing gymnastics, and like I knew right there and then, like my calling in life is to be an entertainer. So 5 years from now, 7 years from now, 20 years from now, you're gonna see me entertain, like whether it's in the wrestling ring, whether it's in a cell phone, on a video, or on a big screen. Like I think there is so much we could do with just not with just wrestling. So just grow not just as a wrestler, but as an entertainer, as a business person as well, for
I love
sure.
it.
Hmm.
Chico, thank you.
No,
Like
I
I've said
appreciate
a
you.
couple times throughout this, just thank you for all your authenticity. You just being open. These are so fun whenever you get to see the person.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate you so
No, I
much.
no, I appreciate you. I know, like I said in the past, you tried to get me back, get me on the shows and stuff like that. And whether it's me, mostly it was probably me, because like I said, we were supposed to do this last
Stuff
night.
happens.
No, we were supposed to do it. We were supposed to do it on the 17th. But I'm like, oh wait, I got freelance that day. It's my birthday. It was supposed to do it yesterday, but I'm at a haunted house. But now today, it's the
Hey, we
19th
made
of
it happen.
October. We made it happen. Hopefully, we can do one in person, and
Yes.
like we can sit down in a room, just shoot the shits, and just be like, all right, like what can we do in an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, of
That
course.
leads segues right into my final statement. Um, yeah, if we want to come back on, the door's open. Maybe we
Yeah,
can do it in person. Sit down for an hour and a half, 2 hours, get to
yeah,
chat and see what happens. I'm down.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, like whenever, that's just you, and this is everybody. Like anybody goes to an AEW show, freelance show, Eagle Pro show, maybe one day a Chico Pro. We there's
Chico
so
Pro
much.
Show.
Chico, you never know, man. There's so much we could do, right? And there's a lot of time we have. But if you see me out there, feel free to come by the merch table. If you see me on the stage, if you see me anywhere, like I'm very approachable. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
I've been recognized twice in the city just walking, and I'm just like, okay, cool, all right. I'm like, I'm doing something. I'm doing
Yep.
something.
It's a big city too.
It's a
Chicago's
big
not
city.
little.
We're a lot of famous faces. I mean, like, how many celebrities we got are living out here? Punk, Coco Cabana, Vince Vaughn, and all these guys are out here. So it's like
Mustafa Ali's out
Mustafa
here.
Ali, and for someone to be like, oh, hey, like, you're
There's
not on
Chico
TV.
Suave.
There's Chico. You're not on TV, but we know who you are. You're Chico Suave.
Yes.
It's very humbling. It's very, very exciting. But I always say I'm the most approachable wrestler, no matter good day or bad day. Like, you want to have a picture, you want to have a chat, please, please pull me to the side. I got you.
Look, I can contest to that. So, man, I'll just leave this to see you next time then. It seems appropriate.
All right, sounds right, man. I'll see you whenever I can.